Hey guys, morning. Carosa here, Body by Carosa. How you doing? So today we're talking about sprinting and high intensity interval training and how they go hand in hand. Because most of us are still quarantined in a sense, no gyms are open, so we're all getting at-home workouts. Or if you're working with a trainer, like myself, who does in-home training, then you're one of the lucky ones who has continued on their fitness progress. But main part of the video today, what we're talking about is the fact that high intensity interval training is really good for you, but it's actually usually really done wrong, programmed wrong, because the more is better idea is what everybody thinks. So I'll give you a perfect little example. Doing, let's say I'll use a CrossFit protocol as an example. Every minute on the minute, let's say you did 5 minutes and you were doing burpees, 10 burpees every minute on the minute for 5 minutes. So it'd be 50 total burpees. Obviously, as you get into the set or into sets, right? Maybe your first set was good, second set was maybe the same amount of time. Maybe by your third set, you're dropping off in power a little bit, right? Because of that, you're actually diminishing your gains. Because high intensity interval training was actually designed for performance originally. It was designed for athletes. It was designed to create a performance output, right? We're looking for power output. We're looking for being able to be intense for a short amount of time and then rest fully and then be intense again and replicate that same power output, okay? So imagine a baseball pitcher who wasn't able to continuously throw the same speed, right? As the innings went on, as the pitches went on, right? He'd get easier and easier to hit off of, right? And you say, well, I'm not an athlete. I'm just a 45-year-old, mother of 3, and all I want to do is burn this fat off. Absolutely. It actually applies to you even more, because the reason being is that your aerobic power output or your aerobic capacity has a direct relationship with how powerful you can be and how well you can recover in between these bouts of intense energy. So first thing to get better at high intensity interval training is having a good aerobic base. Your aerobic base means being able to move at a moderate intensity, like 60 to 75% of max heart rate, right? Cardio, as we like to call it, moving for a good amount of time. If you can't go out and say walk briskly or jog or ride a bike at a heart rate where you're not able to talk at the same speed I'm talking now, but you're able to breathe well and work hard and also have a little bit of a conversation here and there. If you can't do that for an extended period of time, you probably don't have a good aerobic base, okay? Building upon that, right, once we have a good aerobic base, now we can start throwing in some high intensity interval training. And you don't need to do it all the time. You're better off focusing on strength training, especially the older we get. I've talked about this before. The older you get, the more strength training is important, right? So not to go off on a tangent with that, but so now we've built that aerobic base, right? After, say, maybe a couple weeks, 3 to 4 days a week, get a couple runs in, get a couple jogs in, get some biking in. So now after we've built up that capacity, right, our work capacity, our ability to actually do good work, now we can then start throwing in some higher intensity stuff. And that high intensity stuff doesn't have to be crazy, like doing 100 million burpees until you blue in the face. It means doing some programmed stuff. And one of the easiest ways to do that is program with rest times. So let's say maybe you would run for 10 seconds, very hard, okay? You would rest. 1 to 5 or 1 to 6 is a work to rest ratio we like to use for that. So if I work for 10 seconds, I'm gonna rest for 50 to 60 seconds before I go again. And at first it's gonna feel like, hey, I'm not really doing much. That's the whole point, is because you're outputting power and then you're going to recover and then be able to output that same power, right? And once that power drops off, so let's say easy way is mark out. Let's say wherever you ran in that first 10 seconds, you're gonna try to replicate that 10 seconds every time, that distance in that 10 seconds. Once you notice that distance drops off, right, you can't get as far in 10 seconds because your power is dipping as you get fatigued, boom, we cut the interval training. We don't need to do any more after that, right? And then slowly over time, we're gonna add more and more intensity onto that, okay? There's a lot more to anaerobic versus aerobic respiration and why they're both important and how they can affect in a negative or a positive way when it comes to your goals and training and everything. So there's plenty more information out there. I'll put more videos out for you guys based on this topic, but hopefully that helped you a little bit today. So long story short, go out and do some sprints once, maybe twice a week. You can do them after a workout. I like doing them later on in the, after a strength workout. I'm all warmed up. I'm very ready to go. I don't like just going out and just sprinting for that day. And word of advice to you, don't just go out and start sprinting 50 yards. If you are not a current athlete who sprints, regularly and stuff like that, a great way to pull a hammy or really hurt yourself. So please make sure you properly warm up. Make sure you have a little bit of you know, some running or you know, some experience, you know, for that day, or even just with sprinting alone. You can also do them on a bike. A great way if you have like an Aerodyne bike or a wind bike. You know, doing sprints on there is one of the easiest and most effective ways to get a really quick workout in and get some fat loss going and stuff. All right, if you have any questions, please comment below. You know how to hit me up, Michael@bodybycarosa.com. All right, plenty of ways. Don't be afraid to ask. Have a great day.